What's up, fellow movie nerds? This is your boy Steve-O here with another nerd culture movie review for The Equalizer 2. This is a spoiler-free review, so don't worry. There's nothing in here that I'm gonna say that's gonna ruin the movie experience for you. I will, however, tell you about what I felt about the movie and how it was portrayed overall. So let's get right into it. So I was very fortunate to be able to get an early screening pass to go see The Equalizer 2. Now, for those of you who don't remember, The Equalizer came out in 2014, and it was starring Denzel Washington, directed by Anton Fuqua. It was a pretty good action film overall. Very slow and methodical in its pacing, but the action was really intense. And overall, it talks about an ex-military guy that you knew very, very little about, a mystery man with a certain set of skills that you don't really find out where he got them from, and just kind of righting little wrongs here and there when it comes to, I guess, wherever he's living at the time. In the first one, he ran afoul of a prostitute, a young prostitute, played by Chloe Grace Moretz, and he proceeded to end up taking down an entire, what it seemed like, Russian mob operation. The Equalizer 2, however, is a kind of a departure, but in a good way. Now, by the way, fun fact for you before I get started going into this. This is Denzel Washington's first ever sequel to any property that he's ever been in before. And the only people that are really recurring characters in this movie are pretty much just Denzel and the director Anton Fuqua. So you're getting kind of the same vision that the first movie started. Now, to get into the movie itself, you have to, I guess, understand the first one. It did not give any backstory really about Denzel Washington's character, Robert McCall. In this one, you find a little bit older, a little bit more just the same kind of a personality in Denzel Washington's portrayal of Robert McCall, an older gentleman with, I guess you could say, OCD, living in a different neighborhood, and obviously he's a good person who ends up righting wrongs in his neighborhood or wherever he runs afoul of them. Now, like I said, I'm not venturing into spoiler territory, so how he gets into any of these problems is going to be something you're going to have to find out on your own. However, when it comes to the movie itself, it is also very slow and very methodical in its pacing. A couple things I could have probably done without was maybe like there were some very long pauses between not action, but more between scenes. There's a lot of long shots, and I guess it's very slow and deliberate. And this movie was a lot darker than the last one. The last one was a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more colorful. This one is very dark and felt like a little bit gritty. The plot is interesting to say the least. It's not as cookie cutter generic because in this one we actually get some backstory about Robert McCall and where he comes from and why he's taken the stance in his life that he has and what he plans to do with himself. So this is a more personal movie, which I actually really enjoyed because of the fact that in the first one you don't get much information, so he's just kind of this quiet savior that just kind of goes around helping people, and you don't know how he got anything done in the first one. You don't know where he came from. In this one, you find out. I can tell you that, but without spoiling anything for you. I keep mentioning spoilers just because I'm being very, very careful. Now, obviously, this character, Robert McCall, is based off of the original 1980s series called The Equalizer. Denzel, I like to think, does justice to it in the sense that nowadays the fighting style, especially for an older gentleman, is very direct, brutal, and right to the point. This man does not play around. His personality remains much untouched for this sequel. But otherwise, I enjoyed his portrayal. I enjoyed the personal scenes that involve him. And when you find out about his backstory, you kind of get it. You get a little bit more out of it. I liked the acting, of course, is pretty good from Denzel himself. Now, this movie's probably not going to win any Academy Awards, but if you happen to like I guess, more like 90s style, intelligent action movies that are slow but have a good build up, this is a movie for you. If you're used to your typical Marvel film or Michael Bay film or anything that just has a ton of explosions and tons of stuff popping off everywhere, then you may not enjoy this as much. This is a more deliberate film in its pacing, and in this movie, in and of itself, it has a few messages that it likes to go and kind of beat you over the head with it. There's some obvious foreshadowing in there, but overall, I can't say I disliked it. If you can suspend a little bit of disbelief and you enjoy watching Denzel Washington as this incredibly awesome, just kind of quiet, direct, silent badass, then it works for you. I mean, in this movie is basically more about him and the fallout from the choices he's made in his life, which in the end you still have a ton of questions about. Hopefully they'll go back and do another sequel. I enjoyed this one. I hope it does well at the box office, just so we can get a part 3 and maybe get a little bit more backstory as to the type of character that Robert McCall was before he became the Equalizer. Besides that, there's a couple of recurring faces from the previous movie, and you get a little bit more of a worldly view in this one. I know I'm being vague, but please let me know for future reference how much detail you guys really want me to go into. Besides that, I think this movie's worth your $10, especially if you were interested in the last one. It's a very well done movie. You could tell it's very a little bit thought-provoking and just fun to watch. Mind you, don't bring the kids. This is a very violent movie. In its moments of tension and in its moments of violence, it has some pretty crazy gore and some pretty intense violent scenes. But otherwise, overall, like I said, I liked it a lot. I would recommend it, but I could see how, if you're not into the kind of movie that's just a straight direct in-your-face action movie that's slow to build up with a very kind of easy payoff, then maybe this one isn't for you. This isn't your big action blockbuster type. This is a slow but all right movie film. If I don't want to really give it a star rating or a numbered rating, I just want to kind of give you kind of the feel that I got from it. So besides that, I enjoyed the movie. I think it's a better sequel, in fact, than to the original. The original one was lacking in a bunch of different senses. This one kind of is very, I don't know if fulfilling is the right word, but it gives you a little bit more meat on the bone. And I really liked seeing this movie in the sense that it gave me a lot more of what I wanted, more lore. Of course, more Denzel is always a good thing. That man's a fantastic actor and just carries the film incredibly with his performance. So that's my take on The Equalizer 2. I liked it. I'd say go see it, especially if you've seen the first one. But if you're on the fence, maybe wait for Blu-ray or on demand digitally. Besides that, anything else that you guys would really like me to cover about this, or if you guys want a spoiler-filled review, please let me know. My Twitter handle is directly below me, and let me know what you think. Put some comments in there, like, dislike. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want more of. I'd really appreciate it. I'm always looking for feedback. It's been a little while, and I thank everybody who's taking the time out of their day to watch this video. And I'm hoping to bring more content as soon as possible to you guys. So if you like it, let me know, and I will see you next time on another Nerd Culture movie review. Take care, guys.